India. It's the FIBA Women's Asia Cup, and it's New Zealand taking on Chinese Taipei in the battle for 5th place. Well, both of these teams have already secured their Division A status. They did that by winning their games yesterday, and now it's about finishing as high in the rankings as possible. And obviously both had ambitions or aspirations of getting to the FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup. To do that, they would have needed to have finished in the top 4, but they lost their quarterfinals. But I have to say, they both they competed and fought really hard and threw scares into their opponents, but just didn't have enough in the end. New Zealand, they got up by 10 points against Korea, but then sort of fell by the kind of faded somewhat in the second quarter, and into the third they started battling back, got back to really close striking distance, about 4 points, but couldn't quite get over the hump and lost by 15. Chinese Taipei as well, they had a really interesting strategy against Japan, going with a starting 5, bringing that 5 out a couple minutes into the game, bringing in a new line of players and doing that completely for the whole game. But in the end, Japan's class told, and they won. And of course, Japan in the final, they will play Australia. So it's all here. I'm Jeff Taylor, joined once again by the erstwhile intellectually sound Mick Betts. And Mick, give us a few words here before the player introductions.
Well, it'd be thanks, Jeff, and afternoon, everyone. Not sure about intellectual input, but here we go. Chinese Taipei, New Zealand. New Zealand really coming off a great game yesterday, probably their best game of the tournament. And talking to Kendi Kiriyama, head coach, just now, about 20 minutes ago. He's in happy mood. He's very buoyant. He feels that might kickstart a victory today. You know he's got a tough game. Chinese Taipei come in, maybe in the blue uniforms. They got some out-and-out shooters. They've got the tallest player in the game, probably in Bao Shilei, at number, what is she coming at, 17? She's, you'll see her in a minute. Onto the floor there, she is at number 17. And you got to love the way they play. They move the ball well, they shoot the ball well. New Zealand will have to be very mindful of what goes on out there.
Well, thanks very much, Mick.
And now for the team in
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Bengaluru, India. The 5th place game at the FIBA Women's Asia Cup between Chinese Taipei and this New Zealand team. That's being introduced here to the crowd in India. You know, it's you got to really appreciate New Zealand. Are they punching above their weight? Well, I don't think they have quite the same depth in terms of pool of players that nearly all of these countries have, and yet they are here battling away. They just have a tremendous determination, time and time again. They're knocking on the door. Maybe one time they're going to get over the hump to make it back to an Olympics or a FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup. But anyway, we're going to have the playing of the national anthems for both teams. So we'll have a pause in the commentary. So the national anthems have been played, and the players about ready to tip things off in about 3.5 minutes. We'll look at the rosters and also the starting fives for each team. But before that, we'll have a look at the referees. Why don't you take over this segment of the broadcast, Mr. Bett?
Ready and willing, Mr. Taylor. 3 referees today. They're resplendent in their FIBA kit. Just on the sidelines here getting warmed up. There you see them. See no evil, hear no evil. And Mugemman Beg and Canelo from Thailand, India and the Philippines. And nothing to report about either 3 of them. I can't remember a game they've done actually previous to this. I'm sure they've had some good tournaments. In fact, the whole tournament's been good for the fact that we've not been talking about them. Maybe a call yesterday in the India-Lebanon game, but you know what? It's all water under the bridge. Tomorrow's another day, as they say. Here's the lineup for Chinese Taipei. Bao Xilei at 17. Underused as far as I'm concerned, but maybe that will change. Watch out for the fine shooting of Lin, Lan, and Wu. And low pin there, number 3, is obviously hit some big shots today. There's Wang Fanshan 5, Lan at 7. They'll play guard. Huang Wu and Bao Xilei will play the post. All 4 of those perimeter players can shoot the 3. There's Lan 7, Wu at 12. They're a decent team, this Chinese Taipei. Do not take your eye off the prize. Yeah, coach. Yeah, Cheng, I think it is, of the Chinese Taipei. It is indeed Cheng Hu-yun. As for New Zealand, the Kiwis, the Tall Ferns, Gillian Harmon, 12, top player of this team by far. Watch out for Michaela Cox, 2, and Kalani Purcell, 4, as they will offer much resistance. As the starters, Cox, Purcell, Edmondson, Palvast and Harmon. No changing of the guard there for Kennedy Kuriyama.
So there's Gillian Harmon. She's had the great tournament for New Zealand. And you see some of these other veterans, Natalie Taylor as well, and Michaela Cox, Harmon were all in that Olympic team back in 2008. So that tells you all you need to know about them. They are revered, I would have to say, in New Zealand women's basketball. And they're still, you know, still very good players. And I'm wondering if they'll be around in a couple of years when the possibility of getting to the Olympics will be there. Well, Yuting Lin, in fact, it's Lin Yuting, 14 points, 7 rebounds. We think she'll be key. And Kalani Purcell, you see her numbers. The Kalani Purcell perhaps wasn't quite as influential yesterday or a couple of days ago for New Zealand, but nevertheless, a very good player and a player that will be a part of this setup for a very long time. And actually the sister of Natalie Taylor. And you see the coaches as well there. Kennedy Kuriyama going through his last minute instructions.
Is he the Coach Cheng of all the coaches in this tournament? I think Coach Cheng will get the prize for the most under control coach I've seen here this weekend. Very, very cool, calm, and collected. Jeff, I didn't realize you were Jeff with a J, but you know I did. I don't know why I didn't. It was Jeff with a G.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. We are in Bengaluru, India, and it's the FIBA Women's Asia Cup, and it's the battle for 5th place between New Zealand and Chinese Taipei. It's a rematch. These teams met each other on day 3 of this event, and New Zealand came from behind. They trailed by 17 points and then battled back to win 59-53. But, you know, we spoke to Kennedy Kuriyama before the game, and he said this is a very complicated team to go up against Chinese Taipei.
I thought he was talking about his own team, wasn't he? Yeah, I think he's right. I mean, look at the, as you said, Jeff, the way that Chinese Taipei came out in the quarterfinal, 5 on 5 off for about the first 10 minutes, well, the first 3 quarters, really.
Cox bumped up top. You see a lot of niggling types of fouls that this Chinese Taipei team picks up. That was Huang Pingjin.
Yeah, they got into a bit of a battle yesterday, didn't they, with the Philippines that at times got a bit very tetchy.
Well, Harmon is going to take the first on the baseline, and she was short.
She likes that short corner shot, does Julian Harmon.
And now the miss and the rebound by Kalani Purcell. And Paul Voss goes down. You know, Paul Voss we've spoken about a lot.
Fouls on Bow, Jeff, sorry.
Yeah, and what she brings to the team. And I was talking to Kennedy Kiriyama about this. He's like, yeah, there's a lot of keyboard warriors out there with opinions about Paul Voss, but made no apologies. It's like, listen, from a defensive standpoint, athletic standpoint, she is there for us.
What's a keyboard warrior? That's a critic from
from
online
social
critic.
media. Yeah.
You know what, Jeff?
Certainly a big player for the future for them.
I mean, most experts or most people who know the game would understand that if you've got a player that's not producing offensively, then she's there, or he's there, or she's there for a reason, which will be the hustle side, the grit side, the resilient side. And that's what Paul Voss gives you. Great pass down low, intercepted.
Well read by Chinese Taipei. Wu puts up a three. Remember the other day against New Zealand, Chinese Taipei, after a few minutes, just caught fire from long range all over. Everything they put up, they didn't miss. So New Zealand will remember that, and that's the second telegraph pass. That time it was Jillian Harmon that was picked off.
Yeah, New Zealand look a little leg weary, Jeff. Just a little not quite at the races yet.
Huang Pingjin and gets the first shot, the first points of the game.
That's all they need, a couple of opportunities, the Taiwanese Taipei team.
Cox.
Good position for Cox, probably a little bit rushed.
And the scrap, and it goes back to Purcell. She goes up and draws the foul, so she will go to the line.
That was all made because Cox went flying after her own rebound to try and retrieve the missed shot. And all credit to her that loose ball ends up in Purcell's hands.
The big game for both of these teams really following their quarterfinal defeats was yesterday. That's when you had all the pressure, and they needed to win yesterday just to be assured of staying in the top flight. And Division A, both teams really were convincing winners.
Jeff, I'm going to give you a little fact now. That whoever wins this game will come out of this tournament 3-3. That's got you thinking, isn't it?
It has. And another jump shot falls for Chinese Taipei.
Wu there with a little 8-footer. They lead 4-2. Have to be breaking down this zone all night from New Zealand.
Are you sure about that, Nick?
Nope. But I'm gonna.
Paul Voss and another turnover for New Zealand.
The FIBA photographer almost got the pass there. He's on the baseline there, our good friend.
I think New Zealand will be 4-2 if they win this one.
I'll let you think about it a bit longer.
Okay, let me think about it. And the foul.
Do you want me to talk while you're thinking?
Well, New Zealand are 3-2 right now. So Chinese Taipei are going to inbound it. Ching.
Are you sure about that?
Well, I don't know, the way he keeps saying it, what am I looking at that's wrong? And the jump shot. Okay, well, we'll just explain to the viewers here, and maybe I'll see the error of my ways.
Well, I think they lost 2 games in the group.
No, they lost 1. New Zealand. And ball goes out of bounds. So they beat the Democratic People's Republic of Korea to go to 1-1. They lost their opener to China. in their third game to beat Chinese Taipei, so they were 2-1.
All right, yeah, okay, yeah, my fault. Yeah, so if
I thought I was losing my mind there.
No. If Chinese Taipei win, do they go 3-3?
Yes,
that's right.
That's right, because they were 1-2 in the group.
Jeff, you're
I'm never wrong. And nice drive inside. They lay it up, and slow start has been a matter of course, really, for the tall firms.
Oh, it has. It has indeed.
And perhaps the thing that's worrying is the incentive has been there for them to go out and to battle back. But in this game, you know, are they going to have the hunger to finish 5th and not 6th?
Yeah,
I just wonder. Good question,
Jeff.
We're going to see a substitution here early. Edmondson's going to come out, and Agnew is going to come in. Now, Georgia Agnew has all the incentive in the world to come out and put on a show today. She's going to get some minutes, and she has to take advantage. And she hands it off to Cox. And Cox misses from the wing.
Good shot for Michaela Cox to take. She's got to be a presence on that three-point line if they're going to be in a zone the whole day.
And Ching hits another jump shot.
Kariyama might need a timeout in a minute because there's an element here that's not clicking for the New Zealanders.
And then it goes to Kalani Purcell. And her big sis came over, but she elected not to give it to her, to turn and go to the basket.
Yeah, I think they got to get Purcell and Harmon touches pretty regularly against that zone, if just to make that zone just collapse to leave the shooters open. So Purcell with a couple of shots here. The 15 foul for Chinese Taipei.
So it's the offense so far for New Zealand has been Kalani Purcell at the free throw line. She's scored all 3 points there.
And one for Cox, Jeff, is that right? I've got...
So you might be right, unless I'm wrong. Fan Shan, and the three-pointer, they go up 11-4.
In fact, that would mean that there'd be no field goal stole by New Zealand yet.
I don't remember Cox going to the line.
And no, I don't either.
And the official stats show Purcell making those free throws.
Yeah.
Anyway, Purcell drives in and has the ball knocked away.
I think we're saying the official scoreboard in the arena is wrong. What did the online stats say? That 4 for Purcell? Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're right.
So anyway, both teams head over to the benches for a timeout. It's Chinese Taipei on top 11-4. This was their latest contribution from Huang Fan Shan.
You know, it's funny, Jeff, because it's almost a case for Kariyama to get his bench players in to really pick this thing up, because the starters have come out soft. They need inspiring. It's not happening on the floor for themselves. So Stockhill will come in straight away for the tall ferns here. And that seems to be the only replacement. So Purcell will come out and Stockhill in. I just wonder whether they might go to the combination of Purcell and who am I looking for? Bygate. Jessica Bygate. So although she played well yesterday, I just think that might be a decent little look for them. Obviously, defensively, Kariyama might think I might get exposed too much, but
well, he's going to go to Josie Stockhill first, and I find Chinese Taipei an awkward team to play against sometimes. And, and a game like this for New Zealand, it's a very awkward opponent.
Well, they go two styles, don't they? Go the small ball here, and then you bring in Bao Shile, and they go big. They play some inside stuff.
Oh, that's a deep three, and Harmon gets the rebound. Gets it back to Cox. And Agnew. This is where they need to get something from somebody else. But Agnew throws it over the rim. Just looks like Chinese Taipei might have a little bit more bounce in their step today.
Yeah, I agree, Jeff. They're
from the corner. It's good. Well, wasn't right from the corner. It was a 2, but Huang Pingjin stretches the lead to 13-4.
Well, they definitely got their eye in from the shooting wise, that's for sure.
Mick, it's always better to leave the tournament on the back of a win. Agnew tries to make the bounce pass, and it was well read by Ching. You know, New Zealand, if they win this game, they go home, they're 4-2. They say we lost to China on opening day, and then we lost a tough game to Korea.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, so they need to get out. They need to get up off the canvas here. We'll wake up. Here's Agnew, and just a little bit too long. Are they going to say, nope, shot clock violation?
Nice move from Agnew. It's just the ability to finish, I think, that when you get in that layup stage. I think she should be working to get shots for Cox at that position rather than perhaps forcing it herself. But, you know, she's out there to make an impression. She's trying hard.
And the dump down low, and it's good.
Yeah, they're getting ripped
Huang
apart right now.
Pingjin, they take it up. And now quickly the other way. Huang Pingjin over to Lin, and the three-pointer, and now it's 18-4, and alarm bells definitely ringing down in Auckland.
Yeah, they've Chinese Taipei have just come out, Jeff, and just drilled it to the tall ferns. You know, really struggling to stay in the contention, really.
And Taylor misses, and Stockhill with the rebound, or excuse me, doesn't get the rebound. Chinese Taipei, and now another jumper, and they're just in the flow. I just don't see the intensity.
No,
for New
no,
Zealand.
absolutely not. It's gone, and you talked about it. What's the incentive to win this game? The tall ferns might be out of this by the end of 10 minutes.
And Jillian Harmon. And we're going to see some substitutions. Kiriyama looking for a little bit of fire coming from the bench.
A lot of standing off from the New Zealand girls.
Huang Pingjin.
That must be the first missed shot for 4 or 5 offenses, I think.
Now Harmon has it.
They're man-to-man here too. Get the ball inside. There you go.
Harmon, a little jump hook. She doesn't look the same player today.
No, things aren't quite dropping for her. It's fine. She's got to keep working.
And the reverse layup. Now Natalie Taylor brings it across. So I think New Zealand can ill afford to fall any further behind. And offensive foul called on Michaela Cox.
Sure. Well, I think it's maybe when the shot was missed. She went to get the rebound. They're all 5 are walking off, but I don't think all 5 are going to get subbed out. Oh. Yeah, I thought 2 of them might have to turn around. Yeah, Cox turned around. And Stockhill will stay in. Edmondson's coming with the right attitude, that's for sure.
And from the corner, and offensive rebound, Chinese Taipei. And it goes back to New Zealand.
Well, very lucky too, because the offensive rebounding position all belonged to Chinese Taipei. So chance here for New Zealand to get some points on the board, get some confidence amongst themselves.
Now Ott. Edmondson. Kalani Purcell puts up a 3. Cox with the rebound.
Nothing going their way, is it? Absolutely zero. Good offensive play from Cox, nothing going.
Now Lin pulls it back out, about a 3-second differential in the game clock and shot clock. Lin does a little shaking and baking and travels. So one last roll of the dice here for New Zealand at the end of the first quarter, 5.8 seconds. And some pressure, token pressure from Chinese Taipei. And Cox gets it off, but just an abysmal showing offensively. So for New Zealand, they trailed 20-4 after one.
Well, these stats are going to look incredibly unpleasant. They haven't hit a field goal the whole game, Jeff. Look at that, 0 for 15 in the first 10 minutes. I don't think I've ever seen that before. And Chinese Taipei with their 20, I guess, you know, they could have been further up too.
Well, as you look at some of the highlights, and in New Zealand's case, the lowlights, how do you go an entire quarter without making a basket, without scoring, with the exception of free throws? You know, one other thing to consider is that New Zealand did beat Chinese Taipei in what we thought was a fairly significant game. They avoided Japan and ended up getting to face Korea, and they, you know, that was a better matchup for them, we thought. So there is maybe a little bit of a revenge factor for Chinese Taipei, but clearly this looks like just another game for Chinese Taipei, whereas for New Zealand it looks like, in all honesty, we've played a long tournament, we've protected our Division A status, and the hunger just doesn't seem to be there for them to go out and get the win in this.
No, you're absolutely right, Jeff, and that's what he's in that huddle now, trying to dig deep and find something that's going to inspire these girls to pull off, you know, get some momentum going, get a comeback. So Jillian Harmon's had a rest, she'll come back in. Harmon and Purcell in the game for New Zealand is always a good combination. Add Cox to the mix, and you've got 5 that can get the job done. They've just got to get things to drop. They've had nothing go their way, really, have they? You don't score a field goal, that never happens.
How do you, if you're the coach, and again, knowing what the stakes, what they are, you're playing for pride and a higher finish, unless there's some type of arrangement back in New Zealand where state funding is tied to the high finish. How do you get your team motivated? And another basket for.
Well, you can shout as much as
Taipei.
you want to. I mean, you've got to rely on the fact that these players are playing for pride. I mean, that's half the battle here, isn't it? There's pride involved, so you've got to. That's got to be part of this. The slump continues.
And low goes the other end.
Now get an easy basket, please. There
This
you
is
go.
what they need. Cox lays it up, and finally something for New Zealand. Chin goes both ways. Wang. Now Lin. And the ball kicked, so they'll put it back to 14. Lowe has it up high. Now down low, and Edmondson comes down hard on Huang.
That'll be a second foul too for Tony Edmondson. It's not something she'll want to see up on that score, because she knows that Gary will be thinking, maybe do I need a sub for 2 fouls? But you know, at least Edmondson's in there causing a bit of disarray and turmoil in the Chinese Taipei offense.
Haven't seen Bao Shile yet, have we?
No, and this 5 is the small 5 is kicking for Chinese Taipei.
Yeah, no need. I think the Chinese Taipei coach reads the situation well. Wang, another jump shot. And now the ball goes out of bounds and back over to Chinese Taipei.
Yeah, nice look, but just on the fingertips of Harmon. She just couldn't quite get the whole hand around it.
And nice spin move, and now Harmon has it, gets it over to Cox. Edmondson back to Harmon. And Kalani gets inside, puts it up off the glass and in.
There you go. Now, if you can get more of that, Jeff, just a little bit one-on-one for Kalani inside that paint in the low post. Maybe force it a little bit.
And Kalani Purcell with the rebound now.
There she goes.
And inside to Harmon. And she would have wanted to have made that shot. It's almost as if New Zealand kind of like, you know, the alarm was going off in bed as you see the replay. They hit the snooze
like
button.
A 16-point deficit on the scoreboard to get you going, is there?
They hit the snooze button time and time again, and then the second quarter starts, and they finally hit, you know, the off button. They get up and they've had a shot of espresso, and here they are. They're awake.
It's Jeff Taylor's morning in a nutshell, yeah?
Well, no, I get it pretty early. Kids will do that. They'll get you out of bed.
Yeah, they will indeed.
Bao Shile in the game now. So coach reading the situation. Her
Let's
team.
go 5 for 5. Do we miss? I think they've just done the 5 because 4 have just sat down on the bench. So they're all rubbing down with towels. I must have missed that one.
Huang Pingchen misses now. Cox.
Jeff, be interested to see how Chinese Taipei work the next 4 or 5 minutes with Bao Shile in there with so much success. That's the poor play from Cox there.
Yeah, where was she going?
Yeah, good point.
Oh, and then Cox complicates it even more by committing the foul. That was having one too many shots of espresso, so she will go to the bench. And
he is injured here.
Yeah,
like
Huang
Fan Did she
Fanshan.
come down the wrist
Look
hard?
at this. Well, it looked like Cox did, but it's Huang Fanshan that's feeling coming off the worst for that. That's what you don't want to see in a game like this is anybody get hurt.
No, absolutely not.
In all fairness, you never want to see anybody get hurt, but
can't quite work out which is hurt. And the right arm is held up with the way it's supporting the left arm, and I don't know. It looks like it's the right arm.
But she looks a bit dazed over there on the bench.
Anyway, in the mayhem, Agnew's coming for Cox to give her first breather, I think, of the game.
Now Lin on the baseline, and she knocks it in, the 2.
Well, Jeff, at some point, Chinese Taipei are going to go slightly cold, and that might be New Zealand's moment. But goodness me, they're having to endure a real shooting fest from Chinese Taipei here. Pavas not sure where she wants Harmon put.
I mean, what you have to say about New Zealand, if you talk about the strengths of their team, I would say it starts defensively. And Chinese Taipei are a good match for that because they can actually, you know, find their range and start making jump shots.
Yeah.
And
well,
that's
look at
sort
the
of
defense,
happened.
Jeff. They cover so much ground against the zone. Well, you just got to be a bit more patient. Move the ball a bit quicker. Pass it. Oh, Eigen is going to shoot.
Well, the shot clock was
Yeah,
winding down.
it's a good shot to take.
Now to Bao Shile, bounce pass, but she's wide open. She's going to hit that shot, and now Taylor got there late and fouled her. So Huang Pingjin will go to the line for 3. I think she was attempting 3.
I'm going to find out. I thought it was just stepped in, Jeff, but you might be right. Just
Okay.
a long way from here, Jeff, and your eyes aren't.
What do you think about that 3-point arc? It really kind of, as you go to the corner, look at that. There's not that much.
Jeff,
Oh no,
she's
she
about
was
3 feet inside the lane.
Yeah.
3 point.
I told you my eyesight wasn't as good as it used to be, Mick. Stop razzing me.
I think we should need the lines maybe needed fluorescent for you. Just stand out a bit more.
It almost seems as if Natalie Taylor's shoes are pink from here. In fact, they are. So the shot was good.
That should be mandatory.
The
I think
second one?
Every team should wear
18-point
funky
lead.
sneakers. Yeah, it's 18. Good penetration from Palvast.
Paul Voss for 3. And I think at this rate, New Zealand might be going towards an all-time low.
Yeah, I'm
For
sure the
first
first
half.
quarter was an all-time low.
Yeah, 4
Definitely with
points.
no field goals. I'm not, you'll have to look back at the record books of the Federation for that one, but I'm sure there are counting many games where you haven't scored a field goal in a quarter.
All
An
of us
elbow
has to
from
be
Palvast.
careful. She almost threw an elbow there.
So even that was a good move from Purcell, just getting no joy at all.
Now on the baseline, and they're just a little quicker. They're a little bit faster, and to be honest, it's getting quite embarrassing for the Tall Ferns. They will go to the bench, and Chinese Taipei, they just have come ready to play today. One team has come ready, and the other one hasn't.
Yep. But you know what? Is it too simplistic to say that? I mean, look at how many opportunities they've had that have been close in, say 3 or 4. Get your little, you got your shot chart there, Jeff. How many shots did New Zealand take that have been 3 and 4 feet away? Let's see what Kiriyama has to say.
Okay, listen to Kariyama.
Overhelp. Stay disciplined. You make it tough for yourselves. And on the offensive end, we've got people doing their own damn thing. We're in elbows. Identify one high, one play line.
不要讲话。那如果别人已经上了，第一时间就对了，只要上第一时间就对，懂哦？那2个人就要上来。
There's your man's are in, Jeff.
It's good. Yep.
Yeah.
But it's pretty self-explanatory what she's saying, so I won't bore you with it. Coach Ching is, I think she's a pretty good coach.
Absolutely. I was just saying, of all the coaches, she's the one that's most under control, never seems to get upset.
And she's come out with some interesting wrinkles. She has no problem not playing Bao, her only player of any size.
And in some ways, you come in with 2 styles, don't you? You come with the small ball, as they call it, with everybody playing perimeter and shooting shots, and then you got your 4 out, 1 in when she comes in the game. Now, one thing I thought that Kiriyama was trying to identify: 1 high, 1 low. Move the ball quickly. That's the key against the zone.
Agnew. And now Chinese Taipei run. Well, there's only one way to get back into this really for New Zealand. It's at this end of the floor and try to get some turnovers and some easy buckets.
Wow, she lays. Always smiling. I mean, you got to love the big number 17 for Chinese Taipei. Never stops smiling. And she got a 3-second call against her there. Never, no hint of giving the
Anger.
referee a hard time. Yeah.
No. Well, if you go through life with a smile on your face, it's a lot better than being angry, isn't it?
Absolutely, Jeff. That's a great way of looking at life.
And Purcell, and she misses, and now
Desperation
Bao
shot
with the
there. It's so quick as well. There's no.
Agnew, Georgia Agnew. And Edmondson lays it up and in.
I mean, in some ways, Jeff, they have to play that way. You know, you've got to get the ball down the floor in 3 seconds. If you look at the Chinese play, the Australians, make or miss, they're going to attack you straight away.
That was unusual. Can I ask you a question as you look at that? Now, the Chinese Taipei player had not even gone up to the table to check in. But
street ball.
So the coach says substitution.
Street
and the guy
ball,
stopped. The guy stopped the play. Maybe I'm missing because also coming in for New Zealand was Cox.
It's one way to annoy the referees for sure.
And Bao turns, scores, and continues. Chinese Taipei continue to be problematic.
Yes, they do. I mean, it's
Edmondson for 3.
I'm sure Edmondson would have looked at that shot. That's it. That's going down. It just comes long and straight back to her.
Wu for 3. I think at some point the New Zealanders become angry.
Well, it's got to the point now where Chinese Taipei have gone off the boil, gone cold, but New Zealand cannot capitalize. It's a real conundrum for them to solve at halftime. You'd almost leave them out and lay up and shoot in practice, wouldn't you? There's very little you can say.
Bao goes out. The coach seems content not to have to rely on her too much. I mean, New Zealand's size doesn't really pose problems in that respect for any opponent, do they? So,
and they'll just say, we're going to bring your slower plays out to the perimeter.
Boy, this lead could be a lot bigger than it is.
Yeah,
for Chinese Taipei. Look at
keep
Edmondson.
Going,
yep,
keep
nice,
going.
Nice.
This is the broken play they need to get into. So anytime there's a rebound, just run it straight back at them.
It's good to see Huang Fanshan back out there after having to leave the game. Oh! You know, for a minute there, I thought that was going in, with my eyesight. And it stopped. It was almost as if you're watching a video and the video stopped. Look at that. It is wedged in there.
I'll tell you a story, Jeff. We played for an England team. It was under 23s, and the best shooter on the team came up with a shot like this. And that's what happened to it. And when we reviewed the video, we played it back to him over and over again because he was the best shooter. But anyway,
and I'm sure that
side story.
So in other words, he never lived it down.
He never lived it down.
You were just waiting for an opportunity.
He never called himself the best shooter after that.
Edmondson. Harmon. Oh boy. She was going back door. Harmon was trying to pass it back to Edmondson. How do you make that mistake? You think they're going back door and they pop out?
Well, you've got to read the defense if you're the passer, haven't you? And if you, I mean, sometimes you've got to know players too. If the defense is overplaying, you always fake the pass first, in case the back door's going.
Long turns, puts it up, misses.
And I'll say it again, Jeff, this is a cold period here for Chinese Taipei. New Zealand have to get some points here before the break. And it's only the second. All right, here it is, Jeff, in a nutshell. 1:55 to go in the half, only the second team foul for Chinese Taipei.
It's incredible.
It says everything.
You're not attacking the basket.
Exactly right. And
enough.
And you're not taking heads off in there. You're not really going at it. It's, you called it. Ready to play, intensity. They need to up it up, get it up. Half of it is pushing the fast break consistently.
And Cox hits a three-pointer. Back to a 15-point deficit.
Oh, and no, you're right.
And Ching wanted the timeout, the coach, but she asked for it too late. I mean, the fact that they're down by 15, it's a miracle. Should be a much bigger deficit. Huang Pingjin now. Shot clock winding down, and did she get it off? Yep, I guess she did. Now Cox dribbles up the floor. Taylor is going to go baseline and is going to get fouled, so that is foul number 3. And timeout called by Ching. You know, if Kariyama sees the players are not perhaps into it with their intensity when they need to be, should he not take a page out of Coach Kim's book of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea and call a timeout like 30 seconds into the game?
Let me tell you something. I said to him jokingly before the game, because he sensed he wasn't sure he's going to get which team was going to come out. I said, well, why don't you start your second five? And then
because they would have been perhaps
exactly
better.
right. They're fired up to play anyway because they haven't played much. And then if you go down, well, you just send the starters out and say, well, we need to get out of trouble, girls. Let's go. You wouldn't have been in much worse position, to be honest with you.
But then maybe he's facing the music. Why did you not start your starting five, your normal starting five? But then you can't worry about what other people are thinking. You got to read your team. See the starting. See the numbers.
And he was
there.
right to start the starters. You know, you know, it's the final game. You put the starters in charge. The starters have got you in the position to stay in Division A. They were the ones that got you. It was just curious that now, in some ways, his feeling he wasn't sure which team was going to show is he was right.
You know, New Zealand actually have a proud basketball tradition. They played at the Olympics back in 2008, and they also played in 2004, and they actually got to the quarterfinals. So,
well,
and they played in 2000 as well.
A friend of mine, Pero Cameron, was part of the 2002 team in the World Championship.
For the men's team.
That came alive. Yeah, I mean,
but I'm talking the women.
Yeah, but I think the whole thing kicked off in New Zealand in that
of course
era,
it did,
didn't it? And then obviously when
he was one of the players of the tournament.
Yeah, and the men's team gets going, it affects the women's program too.
And Taylor came out, missed with a three, and gets back to why don't we attack the basket? I know we've been giving Natalie Taylor a hard time for shooting those threes, but you got to shoot them to get into your rhythm.
Yeah.
But then when is the time to shoot them and when is the time to drive? And there, Chinese Taipei put the pressure on the defense, and they earn a trip to the free throw line.
And you know, when you miss a three, everybody will say, "Why didn't you drive? Why didn't you pass it?" You know, that's
true.
That's the way life goes. You know.
I just remember Dean Smith would always try to get that good shot. Back in the old days, as the coach at North Carolina.
But you know, it's in some ways, Jeff, it was misleading. I think the old days because there was no three-point line.
Well, this is true.
You know, Jordan never played in college with a three-point line. The famous shot against Georgetown was a 16, 18-footer. So would it have been a different game back then? Quite possibly.
They find to Bygate. Cox. And puts up a little reverse.
Nice
and Wong went
nice
down.
Play, Cox. It was a foul there, but referees, I don't think it was a play on call, but the referees, it's the final day game for them, isn't it?
Will Chinese Taipei go 2 for 1? No. They're going to just take their normal offense. Chen for three off the back of the iron, and
big chance here for New Zealand now. This is the can they get some luck out this last 15 seconds?
Remember Edmondson getting the three that gave him a chance in their quarterfinal.
Pick and pop for Harmon here. Oh no, Harmon, great play for Cox.
She's going to take a three, and it's short. And that's pretty much how it goes. So 33-19, all things considered, Chinese Taipei will probably think they should be leading by more, and New Zealand, well, they know that it could be much worse. Right now, it's Chinese Taipei on top.
Yeah, the stats didn't make pretty reading at the end of the first period. They're probably not going to look much better now. 1 of 11, 5 of 19. And Chinese Taipei, the smaller of the two teams, 12 of 23 inside the arc. They only shot 4 free throws, only 6 for New Zealand, although they are 100%. And rebounding-wise, Chinese Taipei lead by 14, but only have 2 offensive rebounds. Shows you how well. And 4 turnovers, Jeff. Pretty much a perfect game for the Chinese Taipei team.
So 33-19, it's Chinese Taipei on top of New Zealand at halftime. 33-19, the lead for Chinese Taipei over New Zealand at the FIBA Women's Asia Cup in the battle for 5th place. And well, it's not a performance any of the New Zealand players will want to write home about. And the only good thing you can say about it is they started to show signs of life, I guess, midway through the second quarter, and the damage isn't any worse than it is to just by gate. Maybe she'll have a more prominent role, but as you look down the stat line, biggest lead for Chinese Taipei was 20 points. Could have been even bigger. Biggest run is when they went on a run and opened up a 22-4 lead. They reeled off 14 straight points. New Zealand, just from inside the arc, 5 of 19. They've only hit 1 3-pointer, 1 of 11. Chinese Taipei, in that respect, is 2 of 12. And, from a rebound, turnover standpoint, 11 turnovers for New Zealand, just four for Chinese Taipei. So no real pressure being put on Chinese Taipei. But we know that New Zealand have the capacity to come back and play Chinese Taipei and beat them even, because they trailed by 17 the first time. But both of these, but obviously the stakes were much higher then. It was in group play, and they were jockeying for position for the quarterfinals. So Mick, in terms of Chinese Taipei, what are they going to do? They didn't even go to the changing room at halftime, in the locker room. They just stayed out and shot. So what does that tell you?
Yeah, it tells everything, doesn't it? I mean, Ida Cheng has said enough. She's done a few words now, but very confident to not even go into the locker room, give these players a different look and a different, or a chance to unwind and relax. Can you read that, Jeff?
Yep, that is pretty straightforward. Basketball 101. Play hard, have fun. Don't be late for the team dinner, and we'll be on the plane ride home tomorrow.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They didn't go in at halftime. You've got a bit of fun and games in the pre-game walkout. Jeff, it's a 14-point game. So if New Zealand scored the first couple of buckets, we got ball game back on. So
New Zealand have to dig deep here, though. I mean, they're going to start. Kerry Almond's going to go with a starting 5. We saw some good things out of Tony Edmondson, and even from Cox. Early on from Purcell, but
got to generate some energy here, New Zealand.
It's got to come on this end of the floor for them, you feel.
Oh yeah, it always does. It always does.
And a hand was on that ball, and then Bao Shilei can't collect it. Runs down the court
smiling
with a
as
big
usual.
Smile. Yep. They don't call her Smiley for nothing. Now,
why would they call her Smiley for nothing?
They call her Smiley for something.
Oh, I see.
That's because she smiles. Now Cox is battling for position down low. Now Harmon, she will receive it at the line. She's going to put the ball on the deck and takes exception to the D. Paul Voss, shot clock winding down, and Harmon doesn't get anything.
Having a tough time, Gillian Harmon. If you look at the number of shots taken by the players, Cox took 11 shots. She's 3 of 11. Harmon only took 4 shots. There's an element here that she needs to take more shots and take, even if you miss, as one of the best players, you've got to get your shot count up.
Bao Shilei had the ball knocked away, and now just behind the line, the ball bounces out to Bao Shilei, and Harmon knocks it out of her hands. And she looks ironically over at the referee and said, let's call it both ends.
I think she reached the first time that Bao Shilei got a pass and didn't manage to get the loose ball. That time the referee's close eye and said, well, look, we're not going to get you we'll let you get away with it a second time.
So Bao at the line. And you don't think that they utilize her enough? The Chinese Taipei, Bao, with her size? 2 points, 4 rebounds?
I mean, no, I don't. But I think what they've got is 2 different schools of thought. You've got the small ball, which was very successful in the first half, and you've got the low post play that she brings. See, it's not that they don't. Bao's very influential.
Edmondson misses, but Purcell gets the rebound. They're in a zone right now, Chinese Taipei. And now the bounce pass into Purcell. And Purcell misses.
Just when you needed something going your way.
Huang now. Hands it off. Just inside the line.
Now, got to push it here. Edmondson's got to go all the way.
Well, she's going to hear you, and she's going to take it all the way.
Yeah, and that's it. You've got to put pressure on the defense. You've got to get some, beat the defense down the floor. Just like that.
Just like that, and they missed it. Boy, what a break.
Got to catch that.
What a break.
Again, same thing. Cox has got to put pressure on here. Who's in the low post?
And that's what frustrates me about Chinese Taipei. That should be a basket for them. And this time, Jillian Harmon just takes it all the way into the lane and puts it up off the glass and in.
And Cheng's over there now. Just look up the score with 11 points. If it goes to single digits, you get a quick TO.
And the drive down the lane, and it's good. So they go back in front by 13, but New Zealand definitely have a way back into the game, but they don't want to give away the easy ones. Purcell followed her own shot, and now Huang Fanchan gives it over to Lan.
Good defense from Harmon, doing a really good job of stopping Bao Shilei getting in there. They got to run here, Jeff. Keep running, run the lanes. Oh, it's a shocker.
And she pulls up, Wu, and Bao gets it, and that's back to a 15-point lead. She could almost have taken that shot.
She could indeed. I think she just lost confidence from the last play.
Paul Vost puts it up and scores with the left hand.
And that's always open because the Chinese Taipei plays so high on the perimeter. There's always the option to drive and create passing lanes.
So timeout on the floor. Coach Cheng thinks she needs to have a slight readjustment here. This is Paul Vost putting it on the deck and scoring with the left hand. 13-point lead for Chinese Taipei.
脚他们是不是也没有人跟得上啊？那品珍一样这边拿到球，可以投，但是他压迫这么多的时候，一个转身就摆脱啦。你放球放低一点就进来了，可以吗？哦，那我用这个暂停去帮你们做换人调整，所以等下就已先休息，然后那个浩宇跟那个。
Diving. What that means then, if you can't find that, you still get a second lot of screens, but the top screen becomes the first screen.
Cox does have the 7 points to lead all scorers. Have you seen enough to believe that New Zealand are going to make a serious run at this?
Yeah, I do. I just think there's they've got to keep pushing. They've got to, any rebound, any made bucket, they've got to keep coming at. One thing I noticed that if you noticed the way China play, Australia play, the runners on a fast break have specific responsibilities. You get to the foul line extended as soon as you can, as quick as you can. Therefore, the point guard knows where to find you with the first pass. With the New Zealand runners, they don't run very hard. So you're looking at Palvast and Edmondson, possibly Harmon too. They do not run hard enough the lanes. They don't get down to that foul line extended quick enough.
Huang Pingjin. Get your thoughts on Chinese Taipei here in just a second.
That's good defense there. And look now, Palvas running hard the lane. My goodness me, hit it.
Oh, Taylor's going to take the three.
Not bad, not bad. That was much better for New Zealand.
Hong Ping Chen inside the arc. And again, Purcell.
Let's go, let's go.
Well, little Polvos doesn't decide to go one-on-one, so they pass it over to Taylor. She's going to take another one. Just can't get it to go in this tournament, the three-pointer.
No, and in some ways, if the Jays aren't dropping, you got to take it to the hoop. Nice block from Palvast.
What do you think about Chinese Taipei? I mean, they should really be already home and dry on this game.
Oh yeah.
So
they're leaving it out, Jeff. They're leaving it out hanging.
What are their main issues?
Well, Jeff, how did they get to this position in the first place? How did they get the big 20-point lead? Making jump shots, right? One after another. Then they made a couple of layups. Right now, they've not hit a jump shot since the warm-up at halftime. So they're getting a layup there. Nice play. Now, can Agnew run it back? New Zealand have to create tempo here. There's no good just meandering through things. Got to create some speed about their game. Penetrate.
Cox misses with the three. And then the ball goes off of Lowe and back over to New Zealand. So
good defense from Agnew. Very disciplined. Didn't reach. Just let the play develop. Got a good shot there from Michaela Cox, but maybe next time. They got to get into this lane. They got to get into this zone with some penetration. Good cut from Taylor.
Agnew back to Harmon, wide open.
Get no love from that rim, are they?
And
nice
Purcell,
hustle from Purcell, though.
Yeah, good hustle, but doesn't get it. So we're right where we were at halftime. 15-point lead for Chinese Taipei. 6 minutes have gone here in the second half. And good D from Agnew, and the ball again goes off of Cheng.
See, there's an element there that happened that the Chinese Taipei player picked the dribble up. That means Jillian Harmon's got a barrier with a real get up in her and smother the next pass. And she just stood off.
Ooh. Just right into the hands of Chinese Taipei, the pass from Taylor. And now a gift again.
Comedy of errors out there right now, isn't it?
And you just can't, if you're Chinese Taipei, you're just saying, just stay in the game, New Zealand. Just stay in the game. We'll allow you to stay in the game. Look, turnovers 14 for New Zealand, 8 for Chinese Taipei. Bounce pass. They read the pass. And now an easy one. So timeout called by Kennedy Kariyama of New Zealand. His team just turnover after turnover after turnover. 15 now for the game. And a lot of those coming here in the second half. That's the latest.
Trying to thread the needle with that pass. A tough pass at the best of times.
Very difficult. Put ourselves in a position to bring it back. Keep turning the freaking ball over. Stop throwing prayer passes. Against Mango elbow 1.
You can see Kennedy Kariyama, who would want to be a coach. I'm surprised he doesn't have more gray hair. Do you think he's doing something to that hair?
It'll come.
If he stays in coaching long enough.
Wait till the end of the game, Jeff.
Harmon. And Harmon comes in.
What a rebound from Edmondson. Oh my goodness. Well, they're going to get nothing out of that, Jeff. How unfortunate.
And how fortunate for Chinese Taipei.
Yeah, absolutely.
Almost as if Chinese Taipei said, come on back into the game. Come on. Are you going to come or not? Okay, now we're going to turn it up a notch. But Agnew. You know, both Edmondson and Stockdale have to hit that shot underneath the basket.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Jeff, they work so hard to get to rebounds anyway. I mean, offensive rebounds, they don't come easily.
Cox over to Edmondson. And Stockdale, good rebound from her.
Great play from Stockdale.
Look at the footwork. And nice play from
Nice job.
Stockdale.
Excellent work.
And nice encouragement from the coach. Says, come on, we can do this. Still got 12 minutes
Well, really,
to go.
if you've got anybody who could do that easily time and time and get to the middle of the lane with from the block, then feed the bear time.
Shot clock getting down, and well, that's just like throwing it off the rim and getting it back for a new 14. And the reach and the foul on Josie Stockhill. So Ching goes out. Chinese Taipei. Just looking back at their history. And I'll tell you when the last time they had their big win, really. There's a jump shot. Ooh, that hurts New Zealand. And that feels very good for Chinese Taipei.
Okay, Jeff, without looking, how many fouls in the quarter?
From Chinese Taipei or?
No, for both teams.
I don't know, a couple.
Yeah, 2. When have you seen a game with 2 fouls? They can't even get that's. I mean, you know, it's just a frustrating day at the office. Good opportunities, not being able to finish. And you don't want to say, but New Zealand struggle to get 40 in a game.
Yeah, I think you're right.
About what?
They're going to struggle to get 40.
Yeah. I mean, they just made blitz the 4th period and just make a real run of it.
You know, the best finish for Chinese Taipei at a FIBA Women's Asia Cup was 3rd place, and that was 12 years ago. That was in China.
They've had a lot of 4th places, though, haven't they, recent years?
Yeah, they have.
Yeah, I mean, they've been consistently 4th for the past 4 or 5 tournaments, I think. Wide open for Cox here. Going to make one? Yeah.
Well, she makes it. That's right.
Here's the run, Jeff.
And the last time they played in the World FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup, do you remember when that was?
Yeah, you told me 2002.
2006.
Oh, okay.
And they answer Lin with the jump shot. So still, it's a 16-point lead. Harmon hands it off to Edmondson, and
Nice
she gets the
play.
layup.
I mean, they're more comfortable, I think, New Zealand, when there's a man-to-man against them than just a zone, because they don't seem to break down the zone with a shot very well.
And did that count? Yes, it did. They gave away another one, New Zealand, right at the buzzer. So the Chinese Taipei actually extend their lead in the 3rd quarter. Here it is again. Watch this. Look at. I miss it. Yep. And the replay confirms it. They got the basket. So 48-32, 10 minutes remaining. Chinese Taipei on top.
That's their 2 of 17 for New Zealand. I wonder if that's their worst performance.
Here was Edmondson. We thought when this happened that New Zealand might be about to turn things around. And also they had a layup there from Harmon. Well, Harmon hasn't really been anything close to what she usually is today. It's just one of those days, you know. It's a hard time. You know, again, the stakes aren't incredibly high. You're playing for pride, but you're also tired. You've done the business that you had to do yesterday to ensure your Division A status. And it's just been a right old struggle. And Chinese Taipei are a difficult team to play for New Zealand. We saw that in the group phase, and they also perhaps have the revenge incident. They want to come out, beat them, and they want to leave on the back of a win. Still time for New Zealand.
Jeff. It's, I think there's a certain amount of bad luck or misfortune has gone their way. They've knocked the balls rolled around a couple times. They've worked hard for offensive rebounds. 10 minutes now, they've got to give it all. Just see if they can just turn the screw a little bit and ease their way back into the game.
So Rebecca Ott is going to come in. Number 9 for New Zealand. Now we know she can shoot it. And the question is, does Chinese Taipei know?
Yeah, good
and
question.
will they give it to her?
Nobody at the guard position helped Stockhill out here.
Look at that help defense from Huang Ping Chen. Hot, trapped. Nope, gets it to Stockhill. Edmondson. Shot clock winding down. Reads the situation, puts it up, and well short.
Good shot to take, but somebody's got to be following him some rebounds. You can't let yourself get boxed out.
You know, as you look, this will another reason for Chinese Taipei to win today. You know what it is? I think they're trying to avoid their lowest ever finish in a FIBA Women's Asia Cup.
Okay. Yeah.
They did finish 5th in 2001. And that was, I'll tell you who was in that. China, Japan, Korea, and Thailand. Strangely. I wonder if that's right. Because that doesn't look right to me. 2001. Looking at the old archive there. Thailand says they didn't win a game, but they finished 4th. Anyway, traveling the call on Chinese Taipei.
Nice play from New Zealand defense there.
That can't be right. No. I think they're already assured of their lowest ever finish. But this is the expanded tournament with Australia, who are in the final, and New Zealand. And they have lost to one of those new teams, New Zealand. So that's complicated their path.
There must be a FIBA complaints box, Jess, if you can put that into.
I'm not going to say anything. I will quietly mention it to someone. Harmon open. You know, from the very beginning, she missed her first jumper, and it just hasn't worked for Jillian today.
No, you're right.
And Bao catches it, and the and one coming.
They need, they're going to play like this. I think they need Purcell in there, because Bao Xilei is just a little too hot to handle. And this is the versatility of this Chinese Taipei team, Jeff. All the damage was done with the small ball, and when the Bao Xilei comes in, she's very potent.
19 points advantage. They are putting a spanking on the Tall Ferns. And all the more frustrating for New Zealand because they know they can beat this team.
Beautiful pass, and that's nice play from Stockhill. Stockhill gets it to Harmon, finds space. That needs to be repeated over and over again, and see what the Chinese Taipei try and do to compensate.
Wu. And Wu hits the jumper.
Tough shot. They got to get it in quick, run it back at them. There you go. Nice play. There you go.
Oh, nice play. And Edmondson just kind of had a little hitch in her release. Huang Fanshan just pulls up and hits an easy jumper. And the lead now 21.
Yeah, this is where we were in the first half.
And another timeout called by, asked for by Kiriyama, or is he going to call it off? 7:43 remaining.
You know, Stockhill's making that pass, and she's not reading the defense. Good play there from Wu, just to turn the burners on when Stockhill. She met Stockhill.
So Harmon is going to come out. They're calling a timeout, or they? Yes, they are. Well, New Zealand's top scorer is Cox with 10 points. What would you say their margin for error with this New Zealand team is not very great, is it? They have to play a certain way and they have to execute.
Yeah,
and they're not getting it today, and they've got to lock in on defense.
Yeah, they have to create the tempo, and I guess that's one thing that hasn't happened today. They've not created tempo defensively. I've not seen any real what's the word, intensity. Maybe that's been lacking. One of a better word.
From the very beginning.
Yeah.
And absolutely. Then it gets back to what you're saying. Might you have started with a different five? I don't know. Yeah. But listen, you know, don't make excuses. It's just as hard for the other team to play as it is for you.
You know, and there's an element of the game that you come out at the beginning of the game snarling and just the teeth gritted, and you just get into somebody's, you get into somebody's face.
Yeah, but not everybody's like you.
And you're not going to beat me today. Yeah. Well, no, I used to go through these exact, you used to have play on teams where you turn up and you just weren't at the races, and there was something missing, and it's that ability to get fired up, get nasty. And just at some point you're going to say, you know what, you're not going to beat me today. New Zealand's not had that face on them, that look of
getting angry.
Yeah, exactly right. We've gone to a change of defense here.
Well, they got 7 minutes and 15 seconds left to first make the scoreline more respectable, and they need to go on a run here if they want to give themselves a chance to pull off an incredible win.
And the problem is, you get to a stage where you're frightened of shooting a shot missing. And you can't play like that. You've got to get in, get direct. And right now the game is about driving to the hoop for New Zealand, drawing fouls like Purcell here.
So she makes the first, gets it back to a 20-point deficit. Tell you, the first two games today have not been anything to write home about, have they?
No, we thought they'd be
we thought
exciting games, didn't we?
I thought the Democratic People's Republic of Korea would be a much better game against the Philippines, and the Philippines just beat them like a drum.
Oh, didn't they just?
And today, New Zealand won the first game. It was tight. And a little bit of extended 1-3-1 zone. Bao kind of fumbled it. And
all right, let's go.
Purcell did the right thing to knock it over to Cox. Purcell. And
good work from Stockhill.
Good sportsmanship there from Chinese Taipei's.
See, Jeff, there's an element there that Michaela Cox had this secondary break and the pick and roll on this near side. Well, you know what? The weak side had cleared out. So you fake the pick and roll and take it to the hoop, get yourself a layup. But they're going through the motions of running plays right now. And I know it's important, but you have to take risks at this point.
That was a risk. Shooting it in the face of the tall Bao. And the possession arrow on the held ball goes over to Chinese Taipei.
So defensively, you're going to have to push up the floor a little bit. So you're looking for a little bit of momentum change out of your defense, possibly. That's the pass you don't want to give up against the press, or when you're in the press.
Line for three.
See, they're getting misses, and Kiriyama's shouting push.
Well, just like you are. There you go. Into Stockhill. Back outside the Purcell. She drives.
Should have got a foul there, Purcell.
So she's frustrated, and looks like Huang must have taken a shot in this game, coming in with the chin wrapped.
Yeah.
Huang Pingjin. Or no, it's Lin who has it. Georgia Agnew comes in for Cox. So 19-point deficit. Even in games like this, you got to fight to the end, don't you? You got to battle for New Zealand. Now we're seeing it a little bit more.
Absolutely.
Lan. And knocks in the three.
Chinese Taipei aren't going to take a second glance at an open three, are they?
And off of Stockhill and into the hands of Chinese Taipei. And then it goes and bow, and it is looking bad now for the Tall Ferns. Chinese Taipei just pulling away.
One last time out to see if he can roll the dice one more time.
He's going to put Harmon back in.
Yeah, that's a good call. Palvas, Jeff, there you go, in a word. Palvas had a good drive the start of the quarter. Drive there, she's going to get free throws. Got to do it, but big complaint is why are two or three, maybe one or two white shirts not following her in, because there's going to be a nice little offensive rebound coming off that rim, perhaps.
Well, these Chinese Taipeiers will be heading home, it looks like, on the back of a convincing win, so that'll soften the sting, or take away some of the sting of not making it to the FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup. Up 60-37. You just can't see a way back for New Zealand at this point.
Oh, they'll be over the moon with this victory, that's for sure. Absolutely phenomenal.
And when you go back and look at their quarterfinal against Japan, you'll know that they were in that game, midway through the third quarter or later. There's Paul Vost. Taylor, that's a good three. Take it. And just can't get it to go. Lan has it. Chinese Taipei. You know, all the talk was about how the competition was going to change with Australia and New Zealand, and it has. Australia in the final. Ball goes out of bounds, back over New Zealand. And, you know, New Zealand, I think we've seen some good and some bad from New Zealand in this tournament.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. You've seen some on the bench getting cleared here. Jeff Gillings is in, I think, and
the recognition is there, is up. That
Franklin's
the
in
game
as well,
is up.
Yeah, I think so.
So certainly not how the Tall Ferns wanted it to end, but for Chinese Taipei, it's a good way to sign off from the FIBA Women's Asia Cup.
Be interesting to see with this five get a bit more energy defensively, because there's three of them out there that don't play many minutes. Two.
Can you? Oh, look at this, nice read. But Chinese Taipei, the hustle, they don't give up on it. So what is going to be grading New Zealand's performance in this FIBA Women's Asia Cup on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest? What grade would you give them?
Well, Jeff, you know, and you're only as good as your last game, aren't you? That's an old adage in sport. So on this performance, I'm going to give it a 5, maybe a 6. You know, you come in. This team wanted to make the World Championship, right? Agreed?
Yeah.
I think we're going to go for that. So they're going to finish in 6th place, having come up short against Korea, and they're going to come up short here against Chinese Taipei, who we must remind ourselves had New Zealand down by 17 in the opening game. So,
but is there also a touch of reality with New Zealand that, you know, maybe, I mean, what can they realistically strive to achieve?
Jeff, it's every player's responsibility to put whatever they can to make themselves better, right?
Oh, yeah.
You go out and practice 10 minutes a day, okay, you'll be a 10-minute-a-day player. If you go out and put an hour and 10 minutes or 3 hours a day, you're going to be a better player, aren't you? So it's everybody's responsibility to make themselves better, and, you know, or take the game as seriously as you want to take it. But when you come to the national stage, it will be on show for all to see the work you put in. I mean, Fujioka is an example, 22 years of age. How much work do you think Fujioka put in to be the player she is now? Granted, she's got some God-given talents in the terms of body makeup. She's probably got a good physiological strength to her body. I would imagine she's got a heart rate in the 40s because she runs all day.
Yeah, the Japanese point guard.
So there's an element that's natural, but she puts a lot of work in, you know, ball handling, shooting.
I would think that any point guard at this tournament that has seen her play would say she has just raised the bar for my position, and I need to
exactly right
work on my conditioning if I'm going to be able to compete at this level.
Yeah. I mean, you can find video after video of help drills online, individual help drills, but you got to do them every day. You got to be a slave to the drills.
And then on Chinese Taipei, what is the grade that you give them on a scale of 1 to 10?
Well, Jeff, you know, given this performance, you know, it's got to be a little higher, perhaps, than New Zealand, and that would give them a 6/7 really on this tournament. They've performed well. I mean, they never give up. They can always shoot the ball. And hats off to Coach Cheng as well. Different philosophy in that game against Japan, which we hadn't seen before, where I mean, they must have run 6 different 5-on-5-for-5 substitutions in the game. Huh? Did really well.
Well, she played in that Chinese Taipei team that played at the 2002 FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup. So she's been around. That was in China.
Two shots here for Dina Franklin. I'm not sure she's scored yet in the tournament. So a chance to get her mark in. There you go, nice little stroke.
By the way, the coach was a good player. I mean, she averaged 12.8 points and 9.2 rebounds, almost 3 assists per game.
Good for her, yeah.
Coach Ching at the World Championship 15 years ago.
It always helps having players in the coaching ranks. It always helps in terms of understanding how a player feels in situations, and I think that's so important for players to have that person in charge that they know they've been through it themselves.
Not that many. I mean, okay, we had the Democratic People's Republic of China. They had a women's coach. Chinese Taipei with a women's coach. But China, well, Australia's coach is Sandy Brondello, but she's overseas. So they have more of a coaching team with men and women here. New Zealand with the men. I don't know if you think that matters at all, but here we go. Another break, under 2 minutes to go now.
Good rebound from
Franklin.
Franklin, yeah.
Nice pass.
Oh, well done,
from Ott.
Yeah. Chinese Taipei just going through the motions here.
Huang on the baseline. And Bygate with the board. Yeah, maybe that would, you know, I mean, hindsight is 20/20, Mick. But maybe you look at the rebounding stats there for both teams. New Zealand actually winning that battle. Maybe if Kiriyama has this to do all over again, he goes back and he starts his second five, and brings the normal starters off the bench.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
If you don't know what kind of impact that would also have on Chinese Taipei.
no, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right, yeah. 2 shots to come here for Wong, 11. So just Michaela Cox in double figures, Jeff, on the scoreboard. Chinese Taipei only have 2 players in double figures too. 10 is the high score for the game. Incredible, isn't it?
It is indeed. Bygate gets it over to Zillings. Franklin. Oh, nice rebound from Bygate. Nice block.
It's a white ball.
Yep, that was Wang with the block.
Agnew did well there, getting up. Great offensive rebound. Got no joy, no love from the referees there as she went out.
So final 45 seconds ticking off the clock mercifully for New Zealand, and Bygate will go to the line. Kiriyama still coaching over there, saying you've got to run off that screen, or not sure, can't really hear what he's saying. But Bygate misses the first attempt. So it really has been just a game where New Zealand did not show up anywhere close to what we would expect. And for Chinese Taipei, it's been all about finishing this tournament on a high. They've been much, much better. Wang trying to make the bounce pass. So this is the second game we'll watch today. We'll see 3 more, including India against Kazakhstan tonight. That'll be Division B for promotion. So that should be interesting.
Oh, that'll be a great game, isn't it? Big crowd here.
Oh, nice look ahead by Zillings. I kind of wish she'd played a little bit more.
Yeah, you wonder, how old is she, Jeff? Have you got the age? I know you're the age meister.
I know a little bit of everything.
Finger on the pulse of these guys.
I do indeed. And I'm going to tell you.
You're young.
19 years of age.
Yeah. Good future.
She plays at Fordham.
Does she really? Yeah,
Absolutely. Here she goes. Look at this. I mean, you know what? Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Why haven't we seen her more?
Yeah, well, you'll be up to ask Kiriyama after the game.
And the 3-pointer is no good, so Chinese Taipei finish with a 21-point victory. And well done, Chinese Taipei. And tough way to go out. Excuse me, a 20-point victory. Tough way to go out for New Zealand, but you can see the difference. The smiles on the faces of the team in blue. And the recriminations, what could have been for New Zealand. Always better to end on a win.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. That makes that flight home a little easier to stomach, doesn't it? 30% overall for New Zealand. 54 shots they took in the end. 67 shots for Chinese Taipei in total.
This was definitely not a 3-point shootout.
No,
Just
it wasn't
5 3-pointers made all day, and there were a lot of attempts.
Yeah.
Well, there goes Biles smiling as she walks off the court. No surprise there. Joy Burke, as she's known in Australia and also in the USA. And turnovers.
Leading scorers there, Jeff. 10s all round. Purcell, Cox, and Huang for Chinese Taipei. You know, 45-65. Yeah, 10's about right for the top scorer for New Zealand. Unfortunately, their numbers weren't great. Didn't shoot very well. I think the first half they dug a hole so deep they never got out of it. Maybe after the first quarter they were playing pretty even basketball, the two teams, but unfortunate. Tough one. New Zealand players just walking by and receiving the applause from the Indian fans that have amassed here to watch them play this morning.
And the Chinese Taipei as well, getting their applause. So it's on to the medals, and we'll look at some of the highlights here of the second half. And that's where we thought maybe New Zealand might be able to take it up a notch.
Yes. Oh, there was times where you thought there's a little bit of a comeback here. They just, you know, a lot of you say is it misfortune, the balls roll around, you can't put the putbacks in. But you know, in life, Jeff, you make your own fortune, don't you? You know, you just make your own luck. There is no luck. That's what people say, isn't it?
That's right.
As a Gary Player said that the more I practice, the luckier I get. And in some ways, that's basketball. The more you practice, the luckier you will get.
So New Zealand on the receiving end of a big beating tonight. And for Chinese Taipei, it's they're on the plane ride home, and they will be happy. I don't know if they're going to stick around and watch the next games or not, but just as a reminder, the third place game coming up between China and Korea, and then the showpiece event will be Australia taking on who? Japan in the final. And then after that, we'll see India take on Kazakhstan. So big win for Chinese Taipei over New Zealand. They clinch 5th place. Thanks for watching, everybody.